Tonight, a state to our south, Iowa. Doctors are no longer allowed to provide gender-affirming health care there for anyone under 18. A person also cannot use a bathroom there that aligns with their gender identity. They have to use a bathroom that matches the sex they were assigned at birth. The Iowa governor signed those bills into law last night. In South Dakota, a similar law about gender-affirming care bans, and in North Dakota, they're likely to do the same. But here at home, it's quite the opposite. Governor Walz and Democrats are focused on making Minnesota a refuge state for trans people and their families. And part of that plan is making sure gender-affirming care here stays accessible to people who live here now and to anyone who comes to our state. 2 weeks ago, the governor took a big first step on that with an executive order, and tonight the gender-affirming care battle makes its way to the House. John Croman is there tonight with the latest.
In the House because they haven't even gotten to the transgender refuge bill yet. They spent the last 3 hours debating whether or not to ban private prisons. But when they do get to that trans refuge bill, based on how loud it was going in, it's going to be pretty intense.
Vote yes, vote yes, vote yes, vote no.
Demonstrations outside the House chamber on a pivotal day in the People's House as Minnesota decides whether to become a refuge for trans youth seeking gender-affirming health care.
To all those families across the United States that are afraid and wondering where they can go for help, Minnesota is saying, we see you, we love you, and you belong here.
Lee Finke, the first trans legislator in state history, making the case for her transgender refuge bill, one that would put into state law the gender-affirming healthcare executive order Governor Walz signed 2 weeks ago.
But we need to make law. Law is stronger than an executive order, and we have to be covering this gap now. This is not the last step for this bill. This bill does not become law today, unfortunately.
This week, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds signed the bill banning gender-affirming health care for minors in that state. It becomes the 9th state to enact such a ban, shown in red here, but 20 others, shown in yellow, are also considering bans.
Politicians are forcibly pulling children off of medical care that they're being provided. You know, it's their parents and their doctors are saying, like, yes, let's give this kid my care, and politicians in other states are saying no. That's extremely dangerous. It's a manufactured healthcare crisis that's extremely unnecessary, and it's one that we need to respond to.
Supporters say gender-affirming care for minors involves medication, such as puberty blockers, and garments, such as chest binders and counseling, but it rarely involves surgery on minors.
Gender-affirming care that involves surgical procedures is incredibly rare for kids under 18. We don't perform gender-affirming surgeries at Children's Minnesota, but it is a very rare thing for a child to access. The vast majority of gender-affirming care is medication-based or supportive services.
And this bill never went to the health committees, which is concerning. We asked for that to happen, and that did not happen.
Opponents contend making Minnesota an island for gender-affirming care will actually harm children and usurp parental authority.
The bill makes Minnesota a sanctuary state for so-called gender-affirming care, while simultaneously infringing on the fundamental right of parenting. It allows children, regardless of age, to seek and receive radical medical treatments.
Today is actually about protecting our children. And House Republicans today are going to stand up for the majority of Minnesotans that want to do the right thing and protect our kids.
Now, this bill, just like the executive order the governor signed, is mainly about setting up legal protections, making sure that if somebody comes here for gender-affirming care, they can't get dragged back into their own state with some kind of subpoena, or they won't have to respond to a subpoena that blocks them from getting that health care. Now, tonight, the Democrats would not have put this on the floor, Jana, if they didn't know they have the vote, so it probably will pass tonight, but the Republican mission here tonight at the Capitol is to spend as much time as they can reminding Democrats that they think they're doing the wrong thing.
Right, and when we see as many people as we saw this afternoon on both sides of this issue show up, it kind of tells the tale of what's going to happen inside the chamber by what happened outside, right, John, in your experience?
That's right. That's right. And it's all kind of been ginned up by social media, a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and just a lot of passionate feelings on both sides. And so we're going to see that tonight. And it's going to be one of those things where if they're done by midnight, I'll be surprised.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks, John. We'll check in tomorrow as well.